Hello and welcome to ESM Squared, the podcast for experienced social media marketers. I'm Emily, your host and long-term member of the team here at Iconosquare. Iconosquare is one of the leading analytics and management tools for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and newly TikTok. We're proud to work with some of the biggest agencies in the world, as well as huge brands such as Patagonia, Sephora, Versace and even NASA. If you're new to Iconosquare or just haven't got around to checking out our tools before, you can start with the basics by heading over to audit.iconosquare.com and getting a free audit of your Instagram and Facebook accounts to find out once and for all where you're flying high and where you're falling flat. These audits are extremely helpful when it comes to identifying problem areas and efficiently improving your social media strategy. If you're a regular listener of ESM Squared, you'll know that we have two types of episode: the interviews with social media experts, where professionals share with me and all of you their experiences working with social media, as well as their internal strategies, tips, tricks, and more. And we also have tutorial episodes in which I talk all by myself about a particular topic, which can often be a burning question for social media marketers like you and help guide you into making strong decisions for your social strategy. This episode is an interview, and I was delighted to interview Stéphane Couleaud, founder and CEO of Webmecanik, the open source marketing automation software. And let me tell you, Stéphane is a LinkedIn expert. You will definitely go away with some great tips to put into practice. I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the podcast and leave us a rating once you're done listening. And don't forget, you can trial Iconosquare for free for a whole 2 weeks, and you don't need to share any credit card information to get started. Contact me directly for any questions or feedback via emily@iconosquare.com. Let's get started. Today I'm talking to Stéphane Couleaud, CEO of Webmecanik, a marketing automation solution, and Stéphane has a lot of experience using social media and in particular LinkedIn. Same as with all of our interviews, this episode has not been rehearsed, but I can tell you that having chatted with Stéphane recently before today, he has so much knowledge to share. So today is a real treat for me as much as for anyone listening. So sit somewhere comfy, headphones on, and get ready to take notes. Hi, Stéphane. Welcome to ESM Squared. Thank you for being here today. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you. Thanks for your invite.
No problem. It's a pleasure. Let's start out by asking some very general questions, maybe a bit about yourself and your company. How did you come to be where you are today?
Well, I spent half of my life, the last 30 years, working in the software industry, and the other half of my life in the mountain, cross-country ski, climbing, trail running, and so on. So I started 30 years ago with my first company I set up when I was a student in the software industry. So I knew nothing about the software industry at that time. So that's the reason afterwards I wanted to know better about the software industry and the business in that industry. And I used to work for Oracle, and I learned a lot with Oracle, the American company, famous American company. And so now Webmecanik is my fifth company I've set up 8 years ago, and I'm founder of a company and the president now of this software marketing automation software company.
Great. And so tell me more about Webmecanik. Where did the idea come from? Because it's your fifth company now, so you've obviously been through a few different ideas. What's the story behind this one?
Do you want the true one or the storytelling?
I want the truth. Tell me the truth.
The true one. First, I've chosen a base camp in Annecy because this is where we are today. Other company is based in Annecy. It's 30 minutes from Geneva. And secondly, I didn't know what to do. So I wanted to have a software company, but I had no idea at that time. So the first idea was to do just like in the 80s and 90s, to do services first, grab some people around the project, and then the idea of software will come up. And this is exactly what we did. We set up the company as a services one, a web agency in 2012. And in 2015, we switched to a software company as a marketing automation software based on Mautic. Mautic is an open source software. And we kept the same team, and we started from scratch selling the software, and we sold the services company to another web agency locally, and we started from scratch the first 10 customers, just like if we were a brand new company. This is the true story.
And what's the storytelling then? How do you tell it to the papers?
The storytelling is that we've chosen to enter the marketing automation market to propose an alternative to the US software, just like HubSpot, Marketo, Salesforce. And this is our positioning today because we are a real alternative in Europe, especially because of the threat of the Patriot Act and the lack of governance around the data privacy with the end of the privacy shield, for instance. So today it's true, we are a real alternative, and this is a storytelling.
Yeah, I see. That makes sense that you are trying to rival up with HubSpot and Salesforce. Yeah. Okay, well, let's get into the heart of today's topic, which is obviously social media. We are on experienced social media marketers. So I've heard from obviously friends in common and connections that you are an amazing user of LinkedIn. I want to know, when did you join? What were your initial thoughts about the platform? Just basically, how did you get to be good on LinkedIn?
Well, actually, I don't know if I'm an amazing user of LinkedIn, but I use LinkedIn for a long time. LinkedIn is born in 2002. Maybe some people don't know that, but it's an old one. And I started in 2004, so that was just 2 years after that. So I used to live in San Francisco, so I was there when this social media is born, and it was born first of all, to help people for HR and to recruit people. But my first idea was to use this social media not to recruit or to be recruited, but to access to people. The 10 years before, when I used to work for Oracle, the main value of the older people that I was 25 years old, the other one were 35 or 40 years old, and their added value was the experience they had in their vertical on the market, because they knew people. They knew all the people they need to know in banking, in retail, or any verticals or any geography. And with LinkedIn, you could access in less than 3 or 6 months to anyone in the industry, to anyone in terms of geography. And I used to work in 2004 for Lucent Technology, and I was responsible in EMEA for telecom software. And I knew no one in the telecom industry. I knew no one in the in that industry. I mean, in Egypt, in Romania, in Italy, in Spain. And in less than 6 months, I was able to contact and to get in touch with anyone in Egypt or in Romania in the telecom industry. And that was very easy to access. And what it took 10 years of experience before, it took me just 6 months to access to those people. So that was the real great value I found in LinkedIn at that time.
And it's interesting to think about the history, because you're obviously there from day one when LinkedIn began in San Francisco. Did it take on quickly then? Were there lots of people there on the platform that you could go and research?
Okay, there was very few people compared to today, but that was mainly managers and people who wanted to be recruited at that time who access to that platform. So that was more or less the people I wanted to access to as well.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so that worked out really well. You had the people who were wanting to recruit, so the big boys. Yeah.
Mm.
And so how about today then? Are you able to still get the same benefits from LinkedIn? Because obviously it's 20 years old. So, oh my God, is it 20 years old? It's 20 years old. So are you seeing new opportunities appearing on the platform these days?
The opportunity is that there is more and more people on that platform, so it's more potential. The bad thing is there is new threat to this platform, because you can see every day you are spam now. You are spammed in your messaging part of the platform. You can be spammed with the quality. You have to sort the people you want to access to and the content you want to access to as well. But once you do that, so you do you sort the people, you sort the content. It's very good opportunity today to do other things. I mean, as a CEO today, I don't use exactly the same way the LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn more for HR, but for example, for instance, if my teams want to recruit some people, I always try to get in touch with the previous managers of the people who want to recruit, just to have a feedback, to have a feeling of the how they behave in the past. Okay, so this is the first use I have, and the second use I have today of the platform is for merger and acquisition. If I want to acquire a company in the all Europe, it's very easy to access to the CEO of a company that interests me. I use the filters, I choose the company, and then I get in contact with the CEO through the LinkedIn messaging. And it's very easy to access to people. They always answer to me because I'm CEO as well, and the message I send is very contextual. It's just 3-4 lines, but it's enough. And then we have a video conversation, and we explain what we do, and we are in the real life. And even if and most of the time we don't do nothing together. Sometimes I can find some new partnership, and it's enough to get paid of my time. And maybe one day I will access to someone who wants to sell his company, or maybe someone will call me back in 2-3 years. So this is the way I use today LinkedIn as well. And so when I want to make some outbounds, and for inbounds, I just post once a week a post and about what I'm doing, what we are doing as a company. So I want to share some experience to my community.
So you're just a LinkedIn growth hacker, basically. You're just using it in ways that other people don't necessarily know exist to make business, right?
Well, I use the LinkedIn platform as a growth hacker just for the purpose I have today as a CEO. It would be very different if I was still a sales guy. So yes, I use it to access to the people I want to access to. I nurture as well my company. I nurture myself as a CEO to the community I have. I have more than 20,000 people connecting to me. I don't know anybody, but most of them are CMO, CEO, so top managers, and this is the people I want to access to.
Amazing. I think lots of people are going to be inspired by that. And we have growth hackers in our audience as well. I think lots of people would be interested in getting inspired by your practices and using them for themselves. We also have obviously a lot of social media marketers. When you talk about inbound and the posts that you publish on LinkedIn, do you have any tips or hacks, things that you've learned and seen work on LinkedIn to get better reach, engagement? And what would you do? What would you suggest to others out there?
What I like to, what I see is when people share real experience at their level. I mean, you are a very young guy working as a sales. Okay, you can share some experience you have with your customer, personal experience, what you have learned from what you are doing. And you can do it if you are an expert. You can do it if you are top managers as well. Most of the time in the company, when the top managers are around 40, 50 years old, they ask to their people to share posts and so on, but they don't do it by themselves. So that's not good, because you have to show to your people that you're doing the job yourself, okay, and you're part of the experience. So this is the first tip: do it yourself. Do it yourself, even if you are a top manager. You have to do it because you are the people who talk under the name of company, and you have to show the example. Second tip, I guess you have to be maybe to be able to post once a week or twice a week, it takes time. So once a week, it's a good way, but you have to do it. I mean, the people who are connected to you are getting used to see your posts, and if you do it in a regular basis, it's better than doing it twice a week. Then nobody hear about you during 1 month. And then you have to, of course, to choose the social media you want to use, because you can't be everywhere. I mean, on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. So choose your audience, choose the social media that is the best one for you. And to me, it's Twitter and LinkedIn. Twitter, because I have an audience of people like journalists, people who are looking for new information. So sometimes I get some interviews like that. And LinkedIn, because it's all my community I want to access to is on LinkedIn. So I don't need to be anywhere else. I think this is the 3 tips I want to share today, but this is basic one.
Oh, well, I mean, basic, not really, because I think that you're in a really good position to be able to give advice on what works and what doesn't work just from your pure experience. So no, I think that those are really, really good tips, actually. The regularity, especially, making sure that you don't publish too much at once and then nothing for a month. I mean, it's all about getting into the algorithm's head and understanding what's going to help you to appear in the feed, right?
Yeah, and the fourth tip is, I guess we can share is don't hesitate to participate to the overpost, to the post of the people who are part of your market or your vertical. I mean, every week I spend 1 hour with the hashtag marketing automation, with the hashtag inbound marketing, CRM, and I can participate to the post of my competitors, from some potential partners or customers, people who are asking good questions on your market. And if you are an expert, and I guess I am, I'm one in my market. I published a book, I published video on how to use marketing automation, how to implement, how to deploy. So I can give some tips, I can ask some questions, and sometimes I get in touch with people I didn't know an hour ago. And it's part of your knowledge. Your community needs your knowledge, and you have to share your knowledge through the post of the others. So you have to listen. To listen from the others, what they say, and to participate to that conversation.
Yeah, it's all about the power of the network, I guess.
Exactly, just like in the real life. I mean, in the real life, when you come in a restaurant and you spend some time with friends, you don't spend your time talking. You have to spend some time listening as well.
You obviously have a lot of experience with the internet in general, working online, having your history at Oracle, etc. What trends have you noticed in more recent years? Where do you see the future taking us with social media and networking in general?
Today, I guess it's difficult to choose the right media. People want to be anywhere, and they lost themselves, I guess. So, as I was saying, you have to choose your media, the media you are comfortable with, the media where your audience is present. I mean, I'm not working in the B2C, so I don't need to be in Instagram, for instance. But my target, the people I work with, B2B, business to business. So LinkedIn is a very good one to me. Journalists are more on Twitter than listening with Twitter anytime. So I need to post on a regular basis on Twitter as well. But that's it. I don't go to Facebook. I don't go to Instagram. I don't need the other network. For the trend, so I don't know what the future is, but what I can say is I started in the 90s with a Palm Pilot. I don't know if you remember that, or if even you knew about Palm. But Palm
No, no.
they got a 95% of market share with their Treo in 2002. That was the first smartphone, okay? And just before, that was an organizer where you can put all the people you are in touch with. And and maybe what's the name of their son or daughter when he or she was born. And and you can have some sum up of all the meeting you had with people, and then they merge that with the phone. At that time, that was more or less a Nokia for everyone, and the name of that was a Treo in 2002. That was the first smartphone. Okay, and in 2006, the iPhone came up, and everybody got a smartphone at that time. But if I say that is because the trend I see is that you are more and more connected with people all the time. With the Palm Organizer, that was just information you could read just before a meeting or just before a call, just to remember the context, the contextual thing you have, all the information you have about the people you are connected with. With a smartphone, it can be in real time, and everybody can share information in real time. And I guess the new interfaces maybe will be the glasses. Through the new interfaces, maybe you can connect it. You can be connected with people with the right information just immediately. And when the sales guy in the shop will see coming up customers in the shop, they will have information. I don't know if it will be glasses or anything else as an interface, but the social media and will be connected with the ERP, CRM, marketing automation, anything. And I guess people will see the information just like in a jet, or maybe in your car. Now you have some new information in front of you. But it's contextual information, the speed limit, maybe the traffic jam you will encounter in 10 minutes, something like that. So I guess this is the information you'll get. And social media, ERP, CRM, marketing innovation, everything will be connected. Today, it's already connected. I mean, the marketing automation software are connected to a CRM, and it's connected to the social media platform as well to start a scenario because of an hashtag you put on the post, and it can also at the end of a scenario push some content on your messaging interface of your social media. So I guess tomorrow you will do exactly the same thing. Once you exit, you're finished with a meeting, or you're finished in a shop, you finished your shopping. Maybe you will be nurtured just afterwards because you didn't buy nothing, or because you buy something, you bought something in the shop. Maybe you will have ad selling or cross selling scenario begin afterwards. So I guess the new interfaces will explore the actual possibility of the data we already have.
What you said about the glasses, that is like so inspiring. I'm thinking about, I don't know if you've seen the film Minority Report with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it sounds like what you're saying. It's quite an old film, actually, but maybe they had the idea in advance.
And Google tried 10 years ago to sell their glasses, but I guess people were afraid of what the possibility would be in their private life. But more and more we are not afraid to see features coming in our home. I mean, Alexia, I don't have Alexia in my home, but many people have some stuff like that. And they introduce some data spy in their home. So they get used of that. Maybe that was not the right time 10 years ago, but maybe it will be in 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. And even just like putting your biometrics into your phone to unlock it, like the fingerprint, like your thumbprint or your face, when it just recognizes you. I remember when that first came out, a lot of my friends and people around me were just saying, no way, I'm not going into the database. And nowadays, everyone's done it. It's like everyone's just sort of let their guard down to technology, and we just accept it as normal now.
Exactly. That's scary. I mean, that scares me when I think about it. But the more you get used of it, the less you're scared. But if you see that on the top level, it's really scary. Some big companies knows everything about you. Everything.
Exactly. And as you say, if you think about it, it's scary. And I think a lot of people just don't think about it anymore, which is why it kind of becomes natural.
Yeah, it really depends on the intention at the end of the day. So we can't control the intention of others.
I've got 3 quick-fire questions for you for the end of this interview. So I'm going to ask you questions quickly, and then I'm looking for the first answer that comes into your head. Okay?
Okay.
What takes up most of your time on any given workday?
To read. I spend my day of reading or watching some video, but I prefer reading. I read a lot. I read books, of course, but I read as well some posts. I read some articles. Articles are long, more and more deep and interesting now. So I get access to the information in my area, but in other areas as well. And so I spend time to read, and I spend time to listen people. So I assist to some conference. I like to share experience with other CEO about anything, about the SaaS, about the regulations, about merger and acquisition, about anything.
What's your favorite social media account to follow? This can be very personal to you.
Of course, it's LinkedIn. I spend my time on LinkedIn. I don't use anymore my Facebook account. And I use Twitter, but just to push information, not too much to get access to the information. So I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. And this is the way I access to the right people. And I get a lot of video meeting in Europe with some people I won't be able to access without LinkedIn.
Is there anyone in particular that you follow on LinkedIn who you recommend?
No, and I like to be surprised. And this is the problem of the algorithm with the social media is if you don't pay attention on that, you access only to the people you get used to access before. And sometimes you need to learn to the algorithm that you want to access to other people. So get used to use other hashtag that you get used to, just to change the prism of your world through the algorithm of your social media. I don't know. I used to read a lot Gregor Gambato because I loved the way he was able to make some reach. But this is not the content I want to access to all the time as well. So no, I don't know. I don't know about the people. I don't know. I don't have one guy or one girl. I follow up all the time now.
Okay, you like the luck of the draw and just chop and change and see who you happen to read about today.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And finally, what advice would you give to a social media manager today? It can be specifically for LinkedIn, if you like, if that's our topic today. Up to you.
First of all, I would say to define the objective. Most of people forget to define very well their objective that they want to follow. They go directly to the way how to do things. So I guess first you define your persona, what you want to obtain from them, and then secondly you can define the way to reach your objective. Who you want to be connected with, how to be connected with those people, what kind of content, how often you can publish, and what to do. So if you know very well what you want to obtain from the others, then it's easier to define what to do.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Stéphane. It's been really inspiring, and I'm sure that everybody's going to find it as much as a treat as I have today to be talking to you. Is there anything that you'd like to add just as a final word?
Well, thank you, Emily, first for your invite, and it was a pleasure to discuss with you. And maybe the idea I want to share with everybody is if you want to know better how to do what you do today, just talk with people. And the best way to access to people maybe is the social media, but then you switch to the real life and have your phone, get a video conference with people, go to a restaurant, access people, share information with people, and this is a way to make progress in life.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Stéphane. Take care and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Emily. Have a good day.
And that's all for today's episode. Don't forget you can check out our other tutorials and interviews with experienced social media marketers on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and TuneIn. Please don't hesitate to give this episode a rating, and for all questions and comments or to inquire about being interviewed on ESM Squared, contact me directly via emily@iconosquared.com.